Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers showcase video. In today's video, we're looking at another small modded fighter, and this one is called the Chonk Strike Fighter, which is this lovely thing right here. So this is a small block fighter that features both a shield mod and a weapons mod. If we just come below our cockpit, this is our modded weapon. There's basically a very slow firing cannon, and if we come towards the back of the vehicle, we'll then see our shield blocks, which are these lovely things right here. So if I was to hop out of here, pull up a gun and start shooting it, you can see that there are a few bullets there from where I've been playing around with this. We'll get this lovely blue effect that will just protect the steel blocks from any kind of light fire. A rocket launcher will just blast a hole straight through it because those shield mods are not strong enough to withstand it, but simple bullets or stray bullets, it's going to do a fantastic job. But yes, pressing F10 and finding the Chonk Strike Fighter in the spawn menu, if I can spell correctly. Here it is. This thing is made by Mr. Chonkers and weighs in at 450 small blocks using the Sparks of the Future DLC pack for the Ion Thruster skin. Yes, it features those two mods I mentioned just a moment ago. We'll give that a thumbs up, move all the way around to the very front here. We'll have a quick look around the outside, fly around for a bit, and test out the capabilities of this ship. So at the very front here, this is what we get. We've got a bunch of lovely blue steel blocks that comes all the way around onto our fighter cockpit. Just below our fighter cockpit, which I mentioned earlier, is our modded weapon with a connector right behind it. On the left and right hand side of our cockpit, we do have some traditional Gatling guns, just in case you don't want to use the modded weaponry. And they come all the way across onto some grey and white blocks to our traditional rocket launcher. So these rocket launchers have been attached on by some small steel blocks that come away from the main body of the ship. If this was to get blown up in combat, it is absolutely no problem, so they only have a single ion thruster at the back of them, so yes, you can still fly this ship without them. And speaking of the ion thruster behind it, coming all the way behind, there it is. So yes, this will come across onto some more grey and white blocks to the main body of the ship once again, where we've got some hydrogen thrusters and some ion thrusters. The hydrogen thrusters are turned off by default, so if you spawn this in on a planet for the first time, you're probably going to have a hole in the ground. But yes, to the left of that, we do have a landing gear which has been attached on via a hinge, so we can deploy it down when we're ready to land. And if we come up and above our hydrogen thrusters, these are our shield pods, where each one of these will add a small amount of shield to the ship. The more you add on, the stronger the shield, but the more power draw it takes to recharge them. So they are a very nice block, but you do need to have quite a lot of them to be effective against heavy fire such as rockets, but for light fire, having a small amount on them will do very well. Coming all the way around to the very back here, this is what's going to mainly push us around. This is one large hydrogen thruster, two small hydrogen thrusters, and 4 small ions. We do have the small ions on our wings, but I don't really count them because they can easily be blown off by a stray rocket, so we'll just count these on the main body. If we were to come up and above, what we're going to see is even more ion thrusters and some fantastic block work. If we were to move all the way around to the front, there's our landing gears all folded up, some more hydrogen thrusters and an antenna to make sure we can always find this thing. If I was to come down and underneath our cockpit, there is our modded gun once again. If I bring the sunlight all the way around so we can get a better view under here, there we go. There's our Gatling guns, there's our connector, there's the bottom of our rocket launchers on our wings. And towards the back, even more hydrogen thrusters, even more ion thrusters, and we can see the bottoms of our shields on the left and right hand side. That is a very brief look around the outside of the Chonk Strike Fighter, and I totally didn't choose to showcase this based on the name. So bringing the light back around, coming to the first person view, this is what we get on our hotbar. So we do have some pink writing down here which is very hard to see unless you're in the dark. We can see the Hello Chonk Soldier. Scout and explore the universe, bring protection and security, and most importantly, seat smooch. So whatever that means, I do not know. Anyway, as for the hotbar itself, number 1 is going to be to shoot our Gatling guns right beside our cockpit. So there we go. Number 2 is going for our rocket launchers on the wings, and they'll fire just straight together. Number 3 is for our modded gun right below there, so it's a simple toggle on and off. So bring the free camera down and underneath, make sure we get a good view. Turning that on will simply mean when we press number 1 or number 2, it's going to fire alongside it. So shooting our rocket launchers, there we go, that's now going to shoot together with that. Shooting our Gatling guns, once again it will fire alongside. And we can simply turn off if we don't want it. And once again, if you don't want to use mods on this ship, it's perfectly fine to spawn without. you'll simply have a few gaps you might need to fill in at the back. Anyway, coming over to our landing gear, pressing number 5 will fold them all the way down, allow you to snap onto the ground. It's going to be very close to our connector, so you might damage the connector if you land hard. It shouldn't be too much of a problem to repair up. Then press it again, and it'll fold up to the side. Number 6 is to lock and unlock our landing gear, with number 8 and number 9 being controls for our thrusters. Coming all the way around onto the side so we can get a good view at what's going on. Number 8, toggle them on and off around the ship. Number 9, to toggle on and off the hydrogen thrusters. And that is that for the controls. So coming into third person view once again, moving forwards, this is what we get. We've got some fantastic speed moving forwards. We're not the fastest thing in the world, but we don't really have to be when we're a small fighter. Coming to a stop though, we are a lot slower, so we may need to do a 180 and boost forwards to stop in a more reasonable amount of time. So there we are with that. Moving left, and then moving right. We've got some okay speed with that. Moving down, and then moving up. Again, some okay speed with that, with moving forwards being the fastest thing on the ship. Wiggling my mouse around, this is what we get. We've got a tiny bit of weight on here, but it's generally a very floaty control. You may want to turn down the gyroscopes if it's not up to your standards or to your pleasing. That's entirely personal preference. So now what we can do is something very unfair, and that is of course spawn in the albatross. So here we go, space pirates have now taken over it, and they're going to start shooting. As you can see there, the shield went instantly red, so that's all it could take from the sheer firepower of this ship. So moving around to the very front here, if I find another Chonk fighter to spawn in. There we go, in fact that's perfect, we're going to Spider-Man the shit out of this. There we go, we're going to wait a little bit, because you can see that we've got that red box surrounding our cockpit. This is just going to tell you whether your shields are good or not. We just need to wait a bit for our shields to regenerate. And looking over at the poor ship while we're waiting, there is the albatross. We can see the gunfire is still shooting over at that poor little ship, all the way over to here. And there it is. They are doing a terrible job at hitting this small ship. I am very disappointed with those guns. But yes, that ship seems to be in okay standards if you want to salvage it. You got your shield blocks at the back there. We still got hydrogen thrusters on here. So if you were to say, put a cockpit on here, we could probably still fly this around. And there goes that over there. Not too sure what it's trying to shoot. Why would you be shooting that lone gun that's not attached onto anything? Anyway, that's enough for me stalling. Time to get into this character. And now we're going to turn this around. We're going to activate that, come into our rocket launchers. In fact, we'll come for our Gatling guns. And now we're going to very slowly eke around this corner and hopefully not get torn to shreds. Oh god, here we go. We're now getting shot at. And there it goes. So yes, like I was saying, the shield mod is only good for a light amount of fire. So the final thing to do, of course, is to spawn in a brand new one. Let's just go like this. While they're distracted with shooting that, we now just fly straight ahead, full-on collision, and that'll be that for the Chonk Strike Fighter. So all the way forwards, putting our hydrogen thrusters on, straight into that. And there we go, that was a nice big plonk. And as you can see there, the shield mod does not help you with collisions. But anyway, that's it for the Chonk Strike Fighter. Fairly self-explanatory ship I thought you might enjoy. There'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download and play around with it yourself. I recommend you do if you are looking for a very snazzy small fighter. And I'll be back with another video sometime soon. Bye bye.